Our theme for today's public divination is How's Your Opposite Sex Destiny? Please calm down now, close your eyes for 3 seconds and go with your first intuition from the following. Choose the card you resonate with the most from the 1, 2, 3 cards. First, let's take a look at the first set of photos. I think this set of photos, it shouldn't be about some heterosexual relationship. It seems like your own words don't have a purpose. For instance, if you want to enhance your charisma or deliberately attract the opposite sex's attention, just feel like there's no such behavior. Might have had that thought. It's a fleeting kind. It's unlikely that some behaviors will appear. And I think this deck of cards, I think in your life you can be a little princess, and at the same time you can also be a knight who protects yourself. And I think this group is really that kind of more independent. It feels like the opposite sex in your life doesn't seem to have much use. You might feel like you can do many things on your own and don't really need the opposite sex by your side. And I think you guys in this group, I think more should be to put the focus, or rather attention, is actually on self-improvement. Because if you start the game, a 6 of spades appears, you do have a card. But if I play, I feel you might had a pretty bad emotional experience and got quite a severe wound that took a long time to heal. Or you could say your perception of emotions is not so nice. The most important thing for a person is to love oneself. In the end, you can't rely on the opposite sex. Instead of wasting time talking about the opposite sex, it's better to invest time in oneself. Then let's take a look at the arrangement of restraint syndrome. If we talk about the station card, I would say you are quite a clear-headed girl. In terms of learning desire, you are quite strong, and your learning ability is also very strong. If arranged in this way, there is actually a balance of yin and yang. This card has a little bit of the doctrine of the mean in it. Then the movie theme chart appeared. I think it means you love to explore your own inner worlds. It's like you want to ponder on life and existence. Actually, you are not a person without your own thoughts. On the contrary, you have a strong, independent personality, and you actually have your own set of views on the world. The above is an interpretation of this tribe. Hope this can help you guys. Next, let's look at the second set of cards. I think the second set of cards is similar to the winner's set. Very familiar phrases. At first, I thought you were aloof. That's the first impression you give to others, but you're not actually like that. I think you're not a very high energy person. In fact, you're someone who doesn't know how to make advances. You don't know how to interact with a stranger, a newly met colleague, or classmate, so you seem to be aloof, but it's not actually like that. And for this group, I don't think it's bad to not be interested in the opposite sex. Actually, you don't have much of a sense of the opposite sex around you. I feel that you might be a little bit empty, more or less. Life feels a bit like the last video, also a bit like a straight line. Socializing is not particularly good. I think the wider kind is also narrower. If you have a person of the opposite sex around you when you were studying, just a classmate. Well, after work you are colleagues or bosses, meaning related to work. If your friends or family or other people around you do not introduce you to someone of the opposite sex, I think you actually find it rare to sense the opposite sex around you. First of all, let's look at this card of the deep cup without crowd. I think you are a girl with a delicate mind. That is, you will pay great attention to the relationship around you. That is, you care a lot about the friends around you, including the past feelings. Sometimes you will immerse yourself in one. In the memories, you will remember the good friend you used to see, and then you will feel feelings like nostalgia. This card also gives me a feeling of loneliness. you will also have one or two close friends around you now. But actually, when you really encounter problems, you often might be alone now. Silently cut it down, because actually grown up, each person has their own life. If you encounter some negative and passive emotions, you actually don't want to pass it on to them. A bit scared they might find it annoying. Actually, you cherish a friend you have now very much. They might get annoyed and distant if you talk too much. Then let's take a look at the Pope's Enthronement card. I would think that deep down there's a bit of rebellion. It's about the spirit of rebellion. You're just like that with many things. It's like wanting to swear against some unfair phenomena. They really want to rebel. But the War card is still more of a regular card. Even all your rebellion, impulse for basically everything. The suppressed kind of patience is relatively strong. Then let's take a look at the old Santa Barbara sign. In my opinion, it's okay even if there aren't many people of the opposite sex around you. But basically everything can. The kind that can get along well. The kind of girl or boy who is more polite. This video is also aimed at boys. It's unisex. Just substitute one gender. It is quite polite in a way that you can basically give respect to others. A person like that is, they are not very articulate, they are very willful. That's all about the interpretation of this set of cards. Hope it can help you. Lastly, let's look at the third set of cards. I think the third set of cards should be the best set of cards in these three sets in terms of opposite sex language. 2 fire elements, 1 water element. Especially when a sun card appears, doesn't mean there are 2 fires. It's burning very fiercely. But I feel that in terms of this set of cards, it's like, just be yourself. When you don't think with your brain, when there's no rational thought, you're more careless. It's easy to make a mistake with the guy you like. That kind of opposite sex sibling kind. Because actually the importance lies in these casual friendly gestures are unconscious, because I think you might have been quite carefree since childhood. First, let's take a look at the full War 3 political commissar cards. What it represents is actually a quantity. We can see a man 3 feet stood looking at the bed in the distance, representing his success. But from this group of rowing orders, I would think that your opposite sex edge is, relatively speaking, is the better kind. There are quite a few people of the opposite sex around you. But if you have someone you like, that's another matter, because I feel at this stage, there are certain standards for the opposite sex, even if you are not lacking the opposite sex around you. Even it's not lacking to like you wholeheartedly. Actually, your expectations are somewhat high. It belongs to a sort of a state of helplessness. You won't just say make do, or fall in love for the sake of falling in love, then be with someone else. Let's take a look at the positive rotation of the sun. I would think you are can bring to others a person with high emotional value, like a sun-like person. Your words are sort of the proactive and cheerful type. Your thoughts and such are always quite optimistic, of course. You might have some of your own. It's a rather sad and devastating moment, but it's all good. Rarely have any issues with others. It shows that you are basically, you're a rare friend in the eyes of your friends. The person who is breaking down is really talking about you. What's that term lately? A moment, I think. It's rare to have that moment. Let's take a look at the priestess as a show card. It's kind of like a hidden side of your personality. The personality you reveal to outsiders and friends alike is rather casual. But actually, you still have a very rational thought process. I would think that deep down you are a person with a lot of depth, quite unique. A person standing card appears here, and I would feel that although you have some actions that are carefree, you're also the kind to check if the other party has a girlfriend. Does the other party have a family? You usually talk with those non-single males who have families and girlfriends. Actually, you still have. Those who deliberately keep a distance will control their subconscious behavior or say an action. Although sometimes some actions are subconscious, you can't help but hook shoulders and back. But when facing the opposite sex who are not single, you will still keep a social distance, and standing by the sign actually represents being a bit emotionally squeamish. Even though there may be many people of the opposite sex around you, you're the type who's not too, the ones who are too willing to compromise. The above is an interpretation of these 3 sets of cards. Hope it can help you.